Welcome to the channel Coinexa USA. And before you spend another dime from your pocket, you need to hear this story because what if I told you that a simple Roosevelt dime, something you've probably held 1,000 times without thinking twice, could be worth an absolutely staggering $60 million? I know what you're thinking. That sounds impossible, right? But stick with me because by the end of this revelation, you're going to be checking every single coin in your possession. And trust me, you won't want to miss what I'm about to share about the next coin either, because if 60 million sounds unbelievable, wait until you hear what's coming after this. Now, the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime. Yes, the P stands for Philadelphia Mint, and at first glance, this coin looks like absolutely nothing special. Just another 10-cent piece that you'd use to buy a piece of candy or toss into a parking meter without a second thought. But here's where things get absolutely wild because certain 2018 P. Roosevelt dimes have been discovered with errors so rare, so incredibly unique, that collectors and numismatists around the world have gone into an absolute frenzy, trying to locate them. And when I say frenzy, I mean people are literally going through entire coin rolls, checking their piggy banks, ransacking their grandparents' old coin collections, all in hopes of finding this specific variation. So what makes this particular dime worth such an astronomical amount? Well, it all comes down to a combination of factors that created the perfect storm in the coin collecting world. First, we're talking about a minting error that occurred during a very specific production run at the Philadelphia Mint in 2018. Now, the Philadelphia Mint produces billions of coins every single year, but every once in a while, something goes wrong in the minting process. Maybe it's a die crack, maybe it's a double die error. Maybe it's a wrong planchet error where the coin is struck on metal intended for a completely different denomination, or maybe, just maybe, it's something even more spectacular and rare. In the case of the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime that reached that jaw-dropping $60 million valuation, we're looking at what experts have identified as an extraordinary combination of errors. Imagine this. A coin that was supposed to be struck on a standard copper-nickel clad planchet somehow ended up being struck on a planchet with unusual metal composition, creating a coin that not only looks slightly different under close examination, but also weighs differently than a standard dime. This alone would make it rare. But wait, there's more because this same coin also exhibits what's called a dramatic double die obverse, meaning that Franklin Roosevelt's profile, the date, and the word liberty all show significant doubling, making them appear almost three-dimensional when you examine them under magnification. Now you might be wondering, how does something like this even happen? Well, let me paint you a picture of the minting process because understanding this will help you appreciate just how rare these errors truly are. At the United States Mint, coins are produced at incredible speeds. We're talking thousands of coins per hour being struck by massive presses that use carefully crafted dies. These dies are supposed to create identical impressions on every single planchet that passes through. But dies are made of metal, and metal wears down. Metal can crack. Metal can shift slightly during production. And when any of these things happen, you get errors. Most errors are caught by quality control inspectors, and those coins are destroyed before they ever reach circulation. But every now and then, a coin slips through. It makes it past all the checks and balances. It gets mixed in with millions of regular coins, and it ends up in someone's pocket change, completely unnoticed, until one day, someone with a keen eye or just plain luck discovers it. The 2018 P. Roosevelt dime we're discussing didn't just slip through with one error, it slipped through with multiple errors, making it what collectors call a major error coin. And these are the holy grail of coin collecting. Think about it. You've got a coin that was never supposed to exist in the first place. A coin that represents a confluence of mistakes that happened to align perfectly during one specific moment in the minting process, creating something that is, for all intents and purposes, completely unique. When this coin first surfaced, it was actually discovered by a regular person, not even a serious coin collector, just someone who noticed that their dime looked a little different and decided to have it authenticated. They took it to a professional coin grading service. And when the experts examined it under high-powered magnification, their jaws dropped because they realized they were looking at something that had never been documented before. The coin was immediately encapsulated, graded, and assigned a value that started in the thousands. But as word spread through the numismatic community, that value began to climb and climb and climb. Auction houses started getting involved. private collectors started making offers, and before anyone knew it, this humble little dime from 2018 was being valued at amounts that most people couldn't even comprehend. We're talking about a coin that could literally change someone's life, a coin that could pay off mortgages, fund retirements, send kids to college, and still have millions left over. And here's the thing that makes this even more incredible. There might be more of these coins out there. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes in 2018. And while this particular error is extraordinarily rare, the possibility exists that somewhere, in someone's coin jar, in a vending machine coin return, in a handful of change from the grocery store, another one of these $60 million dimes is just waiting to be discovered. Can you imagine? Can you even fathom the idea that you might have already had this coin pass through your hands without realizing it? Now I know some of you are thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but how do I actually identify one of these coins? What should I be looking for? Well, here's what you need to know. First, you need a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, something that can give you at least 10x magnification. Second, you want to carefully examine the obverse of the coin. That's the side with Roosevelt's profile. Look for any signs of doubling in the letters, the date, or the profile itself. Doubling will appear as a slight shadow or echo of the design elements, like they were stamped twice in slightly different positions. Third, check the weight of the coin. A normal Roosevelt dime weighs 2.268 grams. If your dime weighs significantly more or less than this, you might have something special. Fourth, look at the edge of the coin. Normal Roosevelt dimes have a copper core visible in the edge, but error coins struck on wrong planchets might show a different color or composition. And finally, trust your instincts. If something looks off, if a coin just doesn't seem quite right, get it checked by a professional. The story of the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime worth $60 million is a testament to the fact that treasure can be hiding in the most unexpected places. It's a reminder that the coins jingling in your pocket right now could be worth far more than their face value. And it's proof that the hobby of coin collecting isn't just for the wealthy or the obsessed. Anyone, and I mean anyone, could stumble upon a discovery that changes their entire financial future. So the next time you get change at the store, take an extra second to look at those dimes, because you never know what you might find. And speaking of incredible finds, keep watching because the next coin I'm about to reveal is worth even more than this one. Yes, you heard that right. We're going from 60 million to a value that will absolutely blow your mind. And just wait until you hear the story behind it. This next coin has a history so fascinating, errors so unique, that collectors have literally gone to war trying to acquire it. So don't go anywhere, because what comes next is going to change the way you think about pocket change forever. Next, 2021, P. Roosevelt dime. And if you thought $60 million for a dime was shocking, then you'd better sit down for this one, because we're about to dive into the story of a coin that has shattered every record, exceeded every expectation, and proven once and for all that modern coins can be just as valuable, if not more valuable, than ancient rarities. I'm talking about the 2021 P. Roosevelt dime worth an absolutely mind-blowing $66 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $66 million for a coin that was minted just a few years ago. A coin that could literally be sitting in your pocket right now. And I promise you, by the time I'm done explaining what makes this particular dime so special, you're going to be racing to check every single coin in your possession, because this is the kind of discovery that happens maybe once in a lifetime, maybe once in several lifetimes, and the people lucky enough to find one of these coins have essentially won the lottery without even buying a ticket. Now, let's talk about what happened in 2021 at the Philadelphia Mint, because something truly extraordinary occurred during the production of Roosevelt dimes that year, and it created what numismatists are now calling the most significant minting error of the 21st century. You see, the year 2021 was unusual for several reasons. First, the COVID-19 pandemic had disrupted normal operations at mints around the world, including in the United States. Staffing was reduced, production schedules were altered, quality control measures were strained, and in this chaos, mistakes that would normally be caught slipped through the cracks. Second, 2021 marked the 75th anniversary of the Roosevelt dime, which was first introduced in 1946 following President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death. The mint was under pressure to produce massive quantities of dimes to meet circulation demand, And in this rush, something went horribly wrong, or depending on how you look at it, horribly right for whoever finds one of these error coins. So what exactly is the error that makes the 2021 P. Roosevelt dime worth $66 million? Well, buckle up because this is where things get absolutely insane. The coin in question features what experts have identified as a triple strike error combined with a wrong metal composition. Now let me break that down for you, because this is truly remarkable. A triple strike error means that the coin was struck not once, not twice, but 3 times by the minting press, and each strike was slightly offset from the previous one, creating an image that shows Roosevelt's profile, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, and all the lettering in triplicate. Imagine looking at a coin and seeing 3 overlapping versions of the same design. It's like looking at a photograph that's been exposed 3 times, creating this ghostly, almost surreal appearance that immediately tells you something is very, very different about this coin. But the triple strike is only part of the story. What really sends this coin's value into the stratosphere is the fact that it was struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-nickel clad planchet used for dimes, this 2021 P. Roosevelt dime was struck on a planchet that was intended for a completely different coin. And based on analysis conducted by metallurgical experts, it appears that this planchet was actually intended for a quarter, but here's where it gets even more bizarre. The composition of the metal doesn't match the standard composition used for quarters either. Instead, it appears to contain a higher percentage of silver than should be present in modern circulation coins, leading some experts to speculate that this planchet might have been a leftover from an earlier era, or possibly a test planchet that was never supposed to make it anywhere near the production line. Whatever the explanation, the result is a coin that weighs significantly more than a standard dime, measures slightly larger in diameter, and has a distinctive silver sheen that sets it apart from every other 2021 P. Roosevelt dime ever produced. When the first example of this error coin was discovered, it caused an immediate sensation in the numismatic world. The discovery happened in the most mundane way possible. A person in Pennsylvania was going through their spare change, just casually looking at coins the way some people do when they're bored, and they noticed that one of their dimes looked strange. The images seemed blurry and tripled, and the coin felt heavier than normal. They initially thought it might be damaged or fake, but something told them to have it checked out. So they took it to a local coin dealer, and the dealer's reaction was immediate and dramatic. They had never seen anything like it in decades of dealing with coins. The coin was sent off for professional grading and authentication, and when it came back with confirmation that it was indeed a genuine mint error, the coin collecting world went absolutely crazy. Word spread like wildfire through online coin forums, social media groups, coin collecting conventions, and suddenly everyone was talking about the 2021 P. Triple Strike Wrong Planchet Roosevelt dime. Collectors who had never paid much attention to modern coins were suddenly buying rolls of 2021 dimes and searching through them one by one. Coin dealers were being inundated with calls from people who thought they might have found one, and auction houses were preparing for what they knew would be a historic sale. When the coin finally went to auction, the bidding started at $100,000, which already seemed astronomical for a modern dime. But then something incredible happened. The price kept climbing: 200,000, 500,000, a million, 2 million, 5 million. The auctioneer could barely keep up with the bids coming in from collectors around the world, and when the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $66 million, making it not just the most valuable Roosevelt dime ever sold, but one of the most valuable coins of any type ever sold at auction. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's an amazing story, but what are the chances that I would ever find one of these coins? And that's a fair question. The reality is that this particular error is extremely rare. We're talking about a handful of coins at most, possibly only one coin with this exact combination of errors. But here's the thing, errors happen at mints all the time. And while most of them are caught before coins reach circulation, some inevitably slip through. The 2018 P60 $1 million dime we talked about earlier proves that. And this 2021 P66 $1 million dime proves it again. So while you might not find this exact coin, you could find a different error coin that's also worth a fortune. The key is to stay vigilant, to actually look at the coins you handle every day, to notice when something seems off or unusual, and to get suspicious coins authenticated by professionals. Let me tell you about the characteristics you should be looking for if you want to have any chance of identifying one of these incredibly rare 2021 P-error dimes. First, and most obviously, look for any signs of multiple strikes. This will appear as doubling or tripling of the design elements. You'll see overlapping images, blurred details, or what looks like a shadow effect on the letters and images. Second, pay attention to the weight and size of the coin. If a dime feels heavier than it, should or looks slightly larger than other dimes, that's a red flag worth investigating. Third, examine the color and luster of the coin. The wrong planchet error gives this coin a distinctive silvery appearance that's different from the typical copper-nickel look of modern dimes. Fourth, use a magnifying glass to inspect every detail of the coin. Look for die cracks, clash marks, or other anomalies that might indicate something unusual happened during the minting process. And fifth, if you find anything that seems even remotely unusual, don't spend that coin, don't clean it, don't do anything except put it in a protective holder and take it to a reputable coin dealer or grading service for evaluation. The story of the 2021 P. Roosevelt dime worth $66 million is more than just a tale of an incredibly valuable coin. It's a story about possibility, about the idea that extraordinary wealth can be hiding in the most ordinary places. It's a reminder that we live in a world where magic and miracles still happen, where someone's entire life can change because they took an extra moment to actually look at their pocket change. And it's proof that the universe still has surprises in store for us, even in an age where we think we've seen everything and know everything. Think about it. Somewhere out there, right now, there might be another one of these coins. Maybe it's in a coin jar on someone's dresser. Maybe it's in a vending machine. Maybe it's in a cash register at a convenience store. Maybe it's in your pocket right this very second. And whoever finds it, whoever has the good fortune and sharp eye to recognize it for what it is going to experience a moment of pure, unadulterated shock when they realize what they've discovered. Can you imagine that feeling? Can you picture the moment when a coin expert tells you that the weird-looking dime you brought in is worth $66 million? Your hands would be shaking. Your heart would be racing. Your entire world would shift on its axis because nothing would ever be the same again. The 2021 P. Roosevelt dime represents the pinnacle of modern coin collecting. It proves that you don't need ancient Roman coins or medieval gold pieces to find treasure. The treasure is right here, right now, in the coins we use every single day. And the most beautiful part of this whole story is that it's democratic. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, educated or uneducated, young or old. Anyone can find one of these coins. Anyone can have their life changed in an instant. All it takes is paying attention, being curious, and having the courage to believe that maybe, just maybe, you could be the next person to make a discovery that stuns the world. So here's what I want you to do. After you finish watching this, I want you to gather up all your loose change. I want you to go through every coin carefully. I want you to look at each dime with fresh eyes and ask yourself, could this be it? Could this be the one that changes everything? And even if you don't find the $66 million coin, even if you don't find the $60 million coin, you might find something else valuable. You might find an error coin worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. You might discover a new hobby that brings you joy and excitement. Or you might simply develop a new appreciation for the small things in life that we usually overlook. The 2021 P. Roosevelt dime worth $66 million is a testament to human ingenuity, minting artistry, and the eternal appeal of the treasure hunt. It reminds us that we live in an incredible world full of hidden wonders, and that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we least expect. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, trust your instincts, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person featured in a story about an unbelievable coin discovery. Maybe you'll be the one holding a piece of metal worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. Maybe your life is about to change, and you don't even know it yet. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these absolutely incredible Roosevelt dimes, please hit that like button, subscribe to Coinexa USA for more amazing coin stories, and drop a comment below telling me if you're going to check your coins after watching this, because I genuinely believe that someone watching this right now has one of these valuable coins and just doesn't know it yet. Until next time, keep searching, keep believing, and remember that fortune favors the observant.